It's a Sally Rooney video, baby. I can't put it down. I'm just kidding. I can put it down, but yeah. Anyway, I'll see you guys in a minute. Bye. Are we surprised that I am once again in my car? What is up, everybody? It's your girl Jaded Reads here, aka Diamond, back with another video. But first, if this is your first time seeing my face or knowing of my existence, my name is Diamond. I go by Jaded Reads over here on this channel, and over here I like to do reading vlogs, book reviews, and everything in between. So if that is something that you're interested in, I think you should consider subscribing. Okay, so I'm actually at work right now, outside in the parking lot. Just came back from getting a midday drink. It's 12:48 p.m. Today is October. Oh, not yet. Today is September 28th. And I have about 12 minutes left off of my break. And I actually get off work in an hour. After I come off of my break, I get off work. So I wanted to come and introduce today's video or the vlog. And it is a Sally Rooney one. This is Intermezzo, Sally Rooney's 4th piece of work, her 3rd novel, because her first book, I think, was a novella. Which is the only one that I have not read, by the way. But anyway, this is Intermezzo, published on this past Tuesday, was it? Published Tuesday, September 24th, and I actually received my copy in the mail. I pre-ordered this on Amazon a couple of days before it was to be published, and it actually was delivered to my house on Tuesday. So yeah, initially I was going to go to the store and buy it, but I just was like, let me just pre-order it on Amazon. And it was a tad bit cheaper than it would have been if I had gone into a physical store and bought it. So yeah, so we're here with Sally Rooney. I've been tired the last couple of days, so I haven't really read or put a huge dent in it, but I do plan on putting a dent in it this weekend. So I plan on reading a lot of it today and a lot of it tomorrow. I'll probably finish it tomorrow because it is very, very, very good. Alright, so let's talk about what it is, as if others have not spoken on it, but you guys are here to hear my thoughts. So Intermezzo is, like I said, Sally Rooney's 4th novel. It is a story about 2 brothers, one named Ivan, who is 34, I think, or 35 years old. He's a lawyer or a psychologist of some sort, and I'm not really clear on his profession. I know he's one of those 2 things. And then we have his 22-year-old brother, Ivan, and they live in Dublin. They're somewhere in Dublin, or on the outskirts of Dublin, in Ireland, of course, where all of Sally Rooney's stories take place. And it's quite unique. The story is quite unique. I'm only on page 55, and we're already getting what we love about Sally Rooney so much. Those interpersonal relationships between friends or family, or people who are possibly having sex with one another, love interests, just people in general, and the connections that people make. But it's unique. This book is unique because it starts off with the thoughts of Peter, who's the older brother, and you get a sense of how much of a nervous wreck he is, a constant overthinker who kind of sort of analyzes every aspect of what is going on in his life. And he's definitely stream of consciousness, or she's writing it stream of consciousness, so we're getting his viewpoint, and it's written stream of consciously, and it's just very interesting what Peter has going on right now. And from watching tidbits of what other people have to say about the novel, I've gotten a little bit of a spoiler as to what's going on with Peter. But when you initially start to read the book, you're kind of confused as to why he is doing this, or why his part is being written this way, or the choices that Sally Rooney decided to make with his character, you're a bit confused, and of course it makes you want to read more and more and figure out what's going on with Peter. But I kind of already know what's going on with Peter based on, like I said, what I've read already. And then we move into Ivan, who by far is my favorite character. I've been introduced to 4 people so far, and Ivan is my favorite, and so is Margaret. Isn't that her name? They're both right now. Okay, I'm super early within the story, and definitely I've fallen in love with both Ivan and Margaret. Ivan is 22. He's a chess superstar genius, and he's in some sort of town, and he has finished up a tournament in this town, and his host is this woman named Margaret, who is 35. That's who's 35. And I think that Peter is 33 or 32, but Margaret's 35. So, and he has this super huge crush on her. Like, you can just totally tell. And Sally Rooney is so funny. Like, she's so magnificent in the way that she captures my special attention in her novels, because the way that she writes her characters is so freaking relatable. It's just like, how are you able to capture the essence of what it's like to be a 22-year-old young man, or the essence of a 35-year-old mature 35-year-old woman? And I mean mature in the aspect of, you are a mature young woman, because in your 30s you're still considered to be a baby. You're still young, but you're on the mature side of being young, if that makes any sense. And so Sally Rooney, she's just so her writing is so developed in that aspect. Like, that's why I said she captures the voice of what it's like to be a millennial. And I think that's why so many of us gravitate towards her in the way that we do, because it just seems like she understands our innermost, deepest thoughts, and she's able to convey them on paper exquisitely well. And that's my complete obsession with her, if anybody cared to know. But the reason why I said she's so funny is because it's just like, certain aspects of Ivan's character or Margaret's character is it's just so nuanced in that way of just like being a 22-year-old, and the certain things that you feel or say when you're quote unquote trying to seduce an older woman, and you know that you sound stupid, or you know that you look like you're trying to seduce her, but you also feel and know that both of you guys know that you're failing. But it's all just so cute because of the type of person that Margaret is. It's just so cute and so funny to her, because she understands what's going on, and she also can't help but feel like this like tingly feeling, because she's to be liked, you know? It's like to be liked by someone authentically, and they try so hard, you just can't help but give in a little bit. But then she captures the thoughts of Margaret, and Margaret's trying to make the decision on, does she want to help him along, or does she want to leave this here? It's just so good. It's just so good. Sally Rooney is that girl, like through and through. No Sally Rooney slander will be tolerated underneath this video. But you really have to be a special sort of person to understand what it is that she's really doing in her books. Which ultimately is, she's enjoying her life in her writing, but she's also giving you like this like slice of life, bit of hope, and also giving you an understanding of self in a way, if you look at it in that aspect. And she's letting you know that you're not alone. And that's the way that I look at her novels and her books. And that's why I enjoy Sally so much. Truly, she's one of the greats. She really, really is one of the greats. And so this book has done so far what it's supposed to do, which is take me away from my life and put me into the lives of others. And so I can't wait to come to you guys with more thoughts. Is it working? Like, am I doing what I set out to do? Remember in my last video, if you watched it, at the end I said I'm trying to move away from telling you the plot of the book. I'll give general synopsis of what these books are about, but I more so want to discuss probably key points and details, and really center my videos around what I feel and how the book resonates with me. You know, that's what I'm just trying to move into or move towards. So I hope I'm doing a good job. And then of course I will see you guys a little bit later today, for sure. Because yeah, it's a Sally Rooney video, baby. I can't put it down. I'm just kidding. I can put it down, but yeah, anyway, I'll see you guys in a minute. Bye. What is up, everybody? It's me. I'm back with another update for the Rooney for intermezzo. Wow, what can I say? I'm on chapter 15. That's page 359, just to give you guys an estimate as to how much I have gotten through with this book since the last time I spoke to you guys about it. And I have to say that this book has single-handedly really put Sally Rooney at one of the highest positions in my mind of people that I greatly esteem. I think very highly of her as not only an author, but as a human being. And the reason why I say that is because I'm deeply empathetic to pretty much any and everyone in this life. I think there's a reason for why people do all of the things that they do, whether they be the most horrific things that you ever can do, or whether you are being one of the most tender and softest people to your child or to your parent or to your significant other. I think there's a reason why people do the things that they do, and to be able to capture the thoughts, feelings, and emotions of just a general human being in such a way as Sally Rooney does in her novels is just immaculate for you to be able to do that. It's almost as if she's a psychic. She can take on the qualities in the written word of every type of person and make her characters, which this book mainly has about 4 main characters with like 4 or 5 supporting characters who are mentioned throughout the story. But each of these characters has so many different tropes and ideologies and nuances embedded into who they are that you can't help but relate to every single last one of them in some form or aspect. And that quite literally makes her a genius. On top of the fact that the reason why she's so prolific and her career has catapulted her to this mainstream success is because she is one of the great voices of the millennial. And so with me being a millennial, I'm 32 years old. I'm the same age as Sally Rooney. This is she's one of those types of authors, one of those types of people, and her stories are along the same lines of that whole collective consciousness theory, and how whatever you think or whatever you think or whatever you speak and put into the universe, it reaches the same type of person or the person within your same realm, your same age group, your same ideology. It reaches them in some way, and then it like manifests itself through them, whether it be through a story or whether it be in their real life, whether it be on a movie. It reaches these people, and you can't help but think like, what's going on here? Like, is this woman in my head? Am I on Big Brother? You know, it's just like, how is she able to capture so much in her books that directly correlates to what's going on in my life in some way? And I said all that to say that's what's going on in intermezzo. And it's just like so amazing how her novels, it's like a brick by brick by brick, they just build off of each other, and it just makes for she is a prime example of what should happen with an author. You should never digress, you should progress, and that is exactly what she does each and every time. Whoever her editor is, you are my second most favorite person right now. because it's just like you are feeding her the goodness, you are giving her all of the whatever that she needs to be able to publish these novels. She probably doesn't really need an editor like that. She's just amazing. Okay, so I had to lead the conversation with that first, and it just like sums up my feelings about this book. This book is amazing. So of course we know as it follows, Sylvia, who is a character who is directly associated with Ivan and Peter. Ivan and Peter are brothers. Of course, you guys know Ivan's the eldest, Peter's the youngest. And you have Sylvia, the long-time girlfriend, now friend. And then you have Naomi, who is another friend / girlfriend of Peter. And then you have Margaret, who is the love interest / girlfriend of Ivan. And so it's just these characters, I'm so invested in every single last one of them. I second guessed the notion of wanting to read about men. When I first heard that this was going to be about brothers, I was just like, okay, what is she doing? I trust you, but what are you doing? Because I don't want to read about men, you know? I don't want to hear stuff. But it's just like, girl, you knew Sally Rooney had a trick up her sleeve. You knew. Because it's not just about them. It's about relationship. It's about building relationship. It's about losing relationship. It's about losing people. It's about handling grief. It's about all of these things that make up a human being in so many words, and how we maneuver in this life, and how talking about things can also really help. It could not talking or talking can hinder you, but mainly it can help you in the communication aspect, and just these interconnected, interwoven relationships. It's all of these things is what this book encompasses, and I just love it. I think one of the main things that I would feel, especially during the beginning stages of reading this book, was how different Sally Rooney is from anybody I've ever read. And I don't know if this is a collective consciousness moment. I don't think I heard this anywhere, or someone said something similar, but I had already thought it, and that was the idea that she plays by her own rules when she's writing, and she doesn't so much rely on exposition in the way that other novelists do, in trying to really over explain what's about to happen in a story or give you this grandiose plot to pull you in. She just relies on the connection between the two characters, and hopefully the idea that who reads her will understand what she's trying to do. That's the feeling that I get about Sally Rooney. It's almost like giving you a lesson in communication, a lesson. I think I heard Nathan say that or something similar, but I feel that same way as well. My own thoughts and opinions always collide with people that I watch on YouTube, so I feel that same way. It was just like, she's not trying to overcompensate for not being or having the ability to write interesting people, an interesting story, an interesting character. Her books are interesting because of the characters, because of the communication, because of the dialogue, and because of her willingness to go places that others aren't willing to go. You know, so many times in the novel, I was expecting Peter to maybe pull back because of the type of way he was introduced to me. I feel like he might not have been able to communicate in the way that he does, which he's an excellent communicator. Sometimes when you see those characters who have jobs such as being a lawyer, where their job is to argue for their client, they might lack that in their personal life, but Peter's an excellent communicator, and he's really able to express himself, whether his feelings be real or false, and I enjoy that about him. Or those redeemable qualities that Ivan possesses based on how he is growing and coming into his own and accepting the fact that he's falling in love with an older woman when he had a completely different opinion about women in general. It speaks about him being kind of sort of this incel type of person when he was first growing into his own manhood, and how he thought different ways about women that were not so flattering, and now the way that he's able to move past that and see that it was a character flaw more than anything, and women deserve his protection and so many other things. And I just love that. Those the layers. These characters are layered in such a way to where you never get bored with figuring them out. And I think I saw Nathan, I said I wouldn't watch the video, but I watched bits and pieces, and he mentioned how Ivan's character and his repetitiveness is the reason why it was more so a 4 for him instead of a 5, even though he loved it very much. And I would have to say that the repetitiveness of Ivan as this 22 going on 23-year-old man and his confusion, it's important to note that he is growing. Okay, and hold on, y'all. It's important to know that Ivan is growing into a man. He is not yet formed, and so you're going to hit those moments in your life as a 22-year-old where things are kind of the same because you haven't completely shifted your mindset and your thinking to do and be and act differently and to say different things. Like, he's still figuring it out. And I think that was the main point in Sally writing him like that, and him having those blow up moments where he's like completely woe is me about stuff, and he's like trying to figure out why no one understands him, or no one wants to be on his side, or no one wants to feel the way that he feels or see what he sees or see things his way. That's how 22-year-olds act. That's how 23-year-olds act, you know? And so that's why I feel like it was so purposeful the way that she wrote him. Everything in reading Sally Rooney, one thing that you gotta recognize is that everything that she writes is purposeful. All of it is on purpose. So you had to have known that Ivan was going to have those moments where he's constantly lashing out and wanting people to be on his side more than anything, because he's still growing. Like, what is it? The frontal lobe hasn't even completely swollen and formed to what it's going to be for the rest of his life. So he's going to behave that way. You know, that's how I read it, and that's how I saw it. But all in all, this book is just... It's an excellent piece of work. It's an excellent piece of work, and Sally's always been like this. Really and honestly, she's always been like this. And so what she has done is she has grown, and her writing is maturing just like her, and her characters are maturing just like her. Like, you would have to be a 20-something. You would have to understand what's going on with Sally Rooney and what's going on with these characters if you were once a 20-something and you're now a 30-something. Because what we're recognizing with her work and with her artistry, with her craft, is that she's matriculating through this industry in the same way that she's matriculating through life. She is growing with the times and the aspects of who she's forming into. And so her characters are matching that. The way that she's writing is matching that. And I honestly didn't expect anything less. I was just skeptical of reading about men, but I still knew it was going to be a brilliant novel, and it really is. It's excellent, and I hope that I'm doing a good job, because remember, if you watched my last video, you would know that I'm not interested in telling you about the book. I'm more so interested in talking about themes present, a little bit about the characters, how they resonate with me, and talk about my feelings about the books, in hopes that it'll still behoove you to pick it up, because that's the whole point. Reading, let's read. But yeah, this book is excellent. 5-star 10 times over. So it's great. And with that, I think I'm going to see you guys in the next clip, because I've said so much, right? And I've also said so little. But I want to finish the book, which I'll probably do that. I don't know, I want to savor. Yeah, I'm on page 359, so I got about 100 pages left. So I'm going to just continue reading, and then I'll give you my final thoughts in the next clip. Okay, to sum it up, the girl has got style, okay? To sum it up, Sally Rooney has style, class, and grace, and she weaves together a story so effortlessly. It's like not even funny. I'm not even trying to be Trey class A in the words that I'm saying, but it's been a couple of days since I finished this, and I'm ready to kind of like just wrap up the video. Honestly, There's nothing that I haven't said really about the book, like especially in that last clip. In that last clip, I really went in on my views of Sally Rooney as an author, about her writing style, about the characters that she chooses to present to us in any given novel that she's writing. And I think I was able to really present a great viewpoint without giving away too much of the novel. So Intermezzo, it finished up just like Sally Rooney's other books. If you remember the ending of Normal People, the ending of Conversations with Friends, and the ending of Beautiful World, Where Are You? This one has a similar ending. It's extremely heartfelt. Also, given the circumstances in which we found ourselves entering into Ivan and Peter's relationship, and how we kind of just followed them through what seems like a season. It seems like it was going fall into winter and into springtime again. So she follows also the seasons. Like you can kind of look at her books as like a matriculation through time and energy and weather, and just like kind of how your experiences through life and with each other and within yourself kind of fluctuates and matriculates, and how eventually you will end up on the other side of whatever the issue is that you are going through. And so how she decided to sum up the story between Peter and Ivan was magnificent, as all of her other books. You kind of see them just kind of try to figure it out. Not one single person like sort of well, I would say Peter is the one to have broken the ice between himself and his little younger brother Ivan, as he should have, because that's kind of sort of the role of a big brother. But honestly, just like the character tropes, or the narrative, the idea of Ivan is just so picture perfect. It fits his age so much, even though he is a mature 22 going on 23-year-old. The way that she chose to write Ivan is just so picture perfect. And the way that it just was summed up, the way the relationship wrapped up and how she summed it up was excellently done. And so you do get a little emotional, but I wasn't brought to tears reading it, which that's not what I was looking for from this. So I'm pretty happy with the way that it ended. But like all of her other novels, for me, Sally Rooney leaves me with a sense of hope. Her books makes me want to continue on in the fight. And it's just something so unique about reading from a white woman who is not from America, okay? It's so different. Their voices are so different. You can tell that the way that they were possibly raised, especially in the artist, as an artist, as a narrator, as a writer, you can tell that their views, thoughts, and opinions are on the more liberal side, especially from countries such as Italy, or at this particular point I've read 3 authors from Ireland, and they are just so different and nuanced in the way that they choose to express how they view the world. And it's not quite with that same lens as those white American women whom I have read. Not to paint a portrait of it being somewhere between, I don't know, ableist literature, or just like, the word is on the tip of my tongue and I'm actually not gonna say it. I'm not that white people watch me. I mean, some white people might, but I guess what I'm just trying to say is I struggle in a sense with how much I relate to this woman, probably because there's such a racial divide within the country that I am from. And I can't help but continue on in reading her and reading more about her and understanding who she might be as a woman, that the way that I feel about her is valid and it is fair. And I don't want to feel like I'm abandoning those writers within my race group. because I have such an attachment to Sally Rooney, if it's making any sense. And so it's like kind of like trying to be loyal to my race, but then it's like I dote on this woman and I have nothing but glows for her and I feel close to her, and all these quote unquote things that I'm saying, I wrestle with them because it's just like I'm such a huge fan of her. And with regard to the whole race aspect, I think she is deserving of a fan in me, because she really gets it. You know, I haven't been able to come across almost no author who really can make me get to the root, or who really can get to the root of the human condition as a millennial, the way that Sally Rooney has done for me. And so that's why I'm just super obsessed with her, and that's why I think very highly of her. And I'm just trying to think through that on my own, you know what I mean, just like on my own. But Intermezzo was a wonderful story. It's great. It's gonna get a reread from me. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. I think that you should pick it up. Honest to goodness, you guys, it's so many different things that can be said about Sally Rooney, but one thing you cannot say is that she is a terrible author. She cannot write. She cannot tell a story to save her life. You can say that her characters are insufferable, or she is putting on a pedestal toxic relationships, but I'm telling you, like, Intermezzo is that girl. It's that one. It's like I said in previous clips, she is just growing, and you can tell through her literature that she's growing. And if you are someone who is growing too, you'll understand like the matriculation of her work and of her art. And I think she is a critical and pivotal piece to the ever-growing puzzle of writers in the world. And she's necessary. She's very necessary. And I enjoyed the book immensely. Even though this wasn't much of a vlog, it was literally it was literally a reading vlog. Literally, you have not seen me do anything but sit in my car and talk. And I just was like, you know what? I wanted to talk about this book in the car also because the thoughts were fresher earlier. This is me after being at work for 8 hours. I've probably been at home for a couple of hours now. I've showered, I've made a greens juice, and I've kind of tried to refresh a little bit to kind of just pick myself up and just like at least come and sit in the living room and wrap the video up, because I've been in my car for so many clips. But yeah, I just love this book immensely. And her books make you think too. If you're not thinking whilst reading Sally Rooney, you might need to put the book down and come back to it when you're ready to like take some of what she's writing or what she has had on paper or whatever just happened between Ivan and Margaret, or a self-realization that Ivan had, or all the many self-realizations that Peter has throughout the novel, or instances between Peter and Naomi or Peter and Sylvia. If you're not taking that and relating it to something that might occur in your life, what are you doing? Why are you reading her? You know, this one wasn't, I don't really escape into Sally's books. They're more of like a fixed narration, of course, that directly applies to something that I've dealt with in my life, or something that I'm thinking of, or something that I'm currently going through. It's crazy, but it's true. Like, that's why I said in the last clip, it's like, is this woman psychic? You know, like crazy stuff. And I just really think it's just, she gets it as a millennial. We are a particular generation in time. And as the older that I get, the more I start to realize why my parents are like they are, and why my daughter is like she is, and why I'm like I am in my friend group. Well, I don't have a lot of friends, but why my peers are like they are. And so what you do with that generation, and how you kind of grow past it or hone in on it, is your continuation to seek whatever the vice is, or whatever the higher level of knowledge you want to, or whatever type of traveling that you do. All those things kind of add to the taste of a person, but you're still within that generation. And so that's why I think that Sally is such akin to me in a way, or like I really truly feel like we're kindred spirits. And if I were ever to meet her, we would be the best of friends. I know I sound like a crazy freak, lunatic, parasocial, internet personality, but you guys, if I'm not mistaken, we're also the same sign, born in the same month. It's some reason why I feel this way about this woman. I'm telling you guys something. Yeah, so she was born February 20th, which makes her, if I'm not mistaken, a Pisces. I think that she's a Pisces. It's something that has me like, yeah, she's a February Pisces. I'm a March Pisces. My mommy's a February Pisces, and we are thick as thieves. So I knew it was something and we're the same age as well. She's born on 1992, and okay, so she's a year older than me. I was born 92, she's born 91, but whatever. Who's keeping score? This woman is like my best friend in my head, quite literally, and I'm obsessed with her. So anyways, I'm done doting on her. I'm finished now. I love this book to pieces, and I think it's probably a top contender for me. Personally, for me, one of the best books I've read this year. For it to be new, and I really mean that from the bottom of my heart, because so many of the books that I read this year are backlist, and so that's another reason why Sally Rooney is like top tier for me, because she's a contemporary author, novelist, writer, whatever you want to call her, and her books are they're packed with meaning. And she can put together a great story with very, very interesting characters, because the characters have to be interesting, because there's almost no plot. There's no plot, just vibes. Of course, there are scenes where you are here, there, and everywhere, but literally in intermezzo, there's no plot. There's no great big vacation going on. There's no dinner where drama erupts. There's none of that. Her books are genuinely regarding interpersonal relationships, conversations, personal dynamics, dealing with the person internally. It's stuff like that, it's things like that. And you have to be a good writer to be able to produce something so masterful, where there's literally nothing really going on but a lot of talking. Nothing but talking. And that's probably another reason why I'm obsessed with her, because that's all I literally do. I don't do a lot of it at home or anything like that. I'm not in a relationship, and I talk to my daughter. But when I talk, I talk. When I conversate, I conversate. Like, when I converse, rather, I converse. I don't know. She has a sort of je ne sais quoi. Okay, Sally Rooney, I don't know what to call it, okay, but she's that girl. But anyways, that's been me and Intermezzo. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you stayed to the end of this video, leave a yellow heart for the rune. All right, so yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you are not, please subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces.